All right, you can verify you have full root by installing Titanium Backup app, free app on the Play Store, and let's check it. And boom, shakalaka. You should have a fully rooted device. Hi, y'all folks, it's Max from HiOnAndroid.com, where we get
on Android every day.
Anyway, guys, today we're going to learn how to install TWRP recovery using Fastboot. All right, before I begin, you will have to have an unlocked bootloader, and this method is really the universal method that's used with Pixel and Nexus devices from Google. All the Google phones. Now, this is a universal method for installing TWRP. So long as the manufacturer didn't completely change how Android works, you should be able to use this method. For example, all the Nexus phones will work with this. All the Google phones will work with this method. Also, OnePlus, which is very similar to pure Google, will work with this method. This will not work with any of the Samsung methods because they use Odin, not Fastboot, to flash TWRP. Don't follow this guide if you have Samsung. If you have LG, you can also follow this guide once you have unlock your bootloader. I'll go ahead and show you with the Nexus 6P and one other phone today. So let's go ahead and take a look. Alright guys, before I begin, like I said, you must have an unlocked bootloader which will wipe everything on your phone. If you haven't done that for your phone yet, I do have instructions. Go follow that before you follow this tutorial. Now, even if that's the case, before you go, let's go ahead and check real quick if there's actually a TWRP recovery available for your model of Android. If there's no model of TWRP recovery that you're trying to install and you unlock your bootloader, you may be just stuck unlocking the bootloader without actually being able to flash a TWRP recovery. So the first thing you should actually do is go ahead and go online and find out if there's TWRP recovery for your model of Android. So let's go ahead and take a look. Okay guys, before we get any further, you'll first have to know which model of the phone you have. Sometimes one phone has multiple different models. For example, Nexus 6P doesn't really actually have more than a few models. So we're gonna check it anyway. Go to settings, about phone somewhere. If you don't see about phone, go to system, maybe system information. So I'm gonna go to system and then about phone. And you should be able to find model. And you can see it says Nexus 6P. All right. Okay, note the model number, whatever the model number is. Okay guys, next go ahead and go to your browser, go to TWRP.me and go to devices. And you should check if a TWRP recovery actually exists for your Android device. So I'm going to go ahead and type Nexus 6P. And Nexus 6P actually only has one variant, the Angler. The second part is actually the Android code name for your phone, which is different for all the different models. So I only have Angler. I'm going to go ahead and click on it, browse down to download links, and you can go ahead and click on Primary Americas or Primary Europe. They're all the same thing. It just depends where the download site is. And you're going to go ahead and download the latest version. Now, most Android TWRP recovery will come in a form of .img, which is called an image file. Actually, this is what all Android use. So grab the latest version here, and I'm going to go ahead and download it. Now, one thing to note, if your Android device has more than one type of file, so I'm going to actually go ahead and show you how to do it with a device that has two files. So for example, the Pixel 2, or any of the newer phones that follow the new method of Google. All right, let me go ahead and click on download links. Those will actually use two files, an image file and an installer zip file. The reason is that with the newer Android devices like Pixel 2, OnePlus 6, any of the newer Android devices that actually incorporate boot partition, because Google has recently put the recovery partition along with the boot partition. So this is why you're gonna have to use two files. All right, and if you want to get permanent recovery, you can go ahead and boot to TWRP using this and then use the installer. All right, and also for the regular recovery method, you only really need to flash it to the recovery partition, all right, which makes it permanent. Like I said, the older devices will flash the image to the recovery partition, a dedicated recovery partition. The problem with the newer phones like Pixel 2 is that the boot partition is also recovery partition. This means every time you install a new ROM, you have to flash the installer, which will actually modify your boot image and will insert the TWRP recovery inside the boot image. So it's a little bit more complicated, but just one extra step for the newer devices. Again, I'll go ahead and show you. So if you have the newer devices, go ahead and download the latest .img and the installer.zip. Now, if you have a Samsung device, this method will not work, but I just want to go ahead and show you real quick. For example, if you have a Galaxy S5 Exynos, you will will see img.tar, all right, and .img. So basically for Samsung devices, you have to recompress it in the .tar format and then flash it with Odin. So if you see img.tar, this is the wrong tutorial. I do have another tutorial you can use to flash the img.tar. It is called How to Flash TWRP with Odin for Samsung Android. Go ahead and check that. All right, so today we're gonna go ahead and simply focus on the Nexus 6P and also the Pixel 2. So for Pixel 2, I'm gonna go ahead and download both of these. All right, guys, once you have verified that your phone has a existing TWRP recovery installed, then you can go ahead and unlock the bootloader. Go ahead and use my unlocking guide. I'll put the links in my actual tutorial, so just go ahead and check out my tutorial. It'll have all the things you need to check. All right, the video is really for the reference. If you're gonna do this, I do recommend following my written tutorial. And then if you're new to this, then you can go ahead and leave the video on and follow step by step. But my written article is so I can go ahead and organize the different things. Maybe you have to skip the step if you have this, etc, etc. So go ahead and make sure you check my article. Okay, if you unlock the bootloader, I do assume that you already have the drivers installed and also the fastboot.zip installed. Now, if you did not follow my guide on how to unlock the bootloader, I do still recommend going and checking it out so you have the same files, the same drivers. So I'm not gonna go over how to install the driver or how to, I'm not gonna go over fastboot.zip again, all right, because I just went over too many times. So go ahead and watch the first video, which is how to unlock the bootloader using Fastboot. Again, I'll have the links downstairs. Yeah. The description. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and put it into Fastboot mode. You can use the ADB commands, but today I'm gonna show you how to do it using the buttons. So for most Androids, it's going to be volume down and the power. All right, that will put you into Fastboot mode. So let me go ahead and show you volume down and power. All right, for HTC devices, from here, you'll actually have to go to download mode. All right, that's actually Fastboot mode for HTC devices. Let me actually go ahead and show you. All right, if you have HTC devices, it's gonna be volume down and the power to get into the bootloader, and you have to get into the download mode. All right, once you see the logo, let go of the power button, keep holding down the volume down, and this should theoretically land you in bootloader mode. I'm just kidding. No, it will land you here. All right, if you see download mode, that's great. Sometimes it doesn't go. Now with HTC devices, you might land on a different page, but make sure it says HTC download mode. If you don't see that, you may be in the bootloader mode. Usually with HTC phones, you'll end up in this bootloader mode. And from here, go to the download mode and hit the power button. That's the Fastboot mode for HTC. All right. Also, all of the OnePlus devices, similar to HTC, you can go ahead and volume down and power, get into the bootloader, and go into Fastboot menu. That just takes longer. For OnePlus devices, the fastest way is just volume up and then power. All right. And you'll see it says Fastboot mode there real quick. And this is basically Fastboot mode. I apologize if my tutorial is a little lengthy, but I'm not trying to just get views here. I'm trying to make it a very resourceful video so you know each step what we're actually doing. So that will make you a better router in the end. So go ahead and connect it to your computer via USB cable. And if you use my bootloader unlock guide, you should already have fastboot.zip, unzip to fastboot. You should already have installed the drivers. All right, you can actually find that in highnonandroid.com, fastboot.zip and USB drivers. So just go ahead and download fastboot.zip, unzip it if you don't have this, and also just grab the Android USB drivers for Windows if you don't have this already. All the download links are at the bottom, guys. Click here to download. And also for rooting, you're going to need a Magisk and Super SU. So go to my site and go to rooting and Magisk and Super SU. I don't really recommend Super SU, but you can go ahead and download the version here because you can't hide root. But I do recommend downloading the 16.4 zip installer, the uninstaller, and the Magisk manager. All right, and also grab the no verify opt encrypt.zip. All right, just in case you want to decrypt, I'll show you how. You don't need any of these other files. So you should have Magisk manager, uninstaller, v16.4, that's for rooting. No verify OPT encrypt. If you want to get rid of encryption in certain Android smartphone devices, especially the newer ones, if TWRP doesn't decrypt it with your password. Also, you need fastboot.zip. And also, if you have Windows, go ahead and run the universal ADB driver. This will install the proper drivers for you. And you can go ahead and double check you have proper drivers installed in Device Manager for Windows. You'll see Android ADB interface or something along those lines. If you see that, then you're good to go. If you're using Mac or Linux, no drivers are needed. All the commands you gotta type, it's pretty much identical, just a few different steps. Will be on my written tutorial, so check it out if you're follow along with the article if you have Mac or Linux. Also, you need obviously the TWRP image file, the .img. This is the Angler for Nexus 6P. This is all you need for most Android phones, like I said. But if there's a installer zip file, you'll have to download the latest installer zip and the .img file, the image file. This is for the Pixel 2. So I'll go ahead and show you with both. The two different methods. All right, you should have unzipped your fastboot.zip into fastboot folder. Go ahead and copy over the image file you're gonna use. I'm gonna use both of these, so all the .img files I'm gonna go ahead and copy in here. I mean, it's just gonna be one file for most of you, but I'm doing 2 phones at once, so I'm gonna copy both in here. Go ahead and type CMD in your search bar, a Windows search bar. If you have Mac or Linux, go ahead and open up a terminal. If you don't know how, please go Google it. You go ahead and type CD downloads, which is probably the folder name of your downloads folder. If it's different, go ahead and type that here. And we're gonna go ahead and type CD fastboot. That's where you should have unzipped the fastboot.zip. Next, we're gonna go ahead and type fastboot space flash space recovery space, and then type TWRP, and then hit the tab key and it will fill it out for you. You can keep going. If you have more than one file, you can use the tab key to change. But I'm flashing the Nexus 6P in this example. What this command does is fastboot flash recovery TWRP image. The only thing we are doing right now, we're flashing TWRP recovery image into the recovery partition. All right, that's all we're doing. This is not gonna affect your boot image, boot partition. This is not gonna affect your anything else in your system. This is only gonna flash TWRP recovery. And we're gonna go ahead and flash it, hit enter. And like I said, for Mac or Linux, go ahead and enter these substitute commands here. And you can see nothing happened. For most devices, now you can go ahead and use the volume buttons and go to recovery mode or boot to recovery. Or you may have to reboot into bootloader mode for HTC and other devices and then go to recovery mode. Whatever it is, find that and go into recovery mode and hit enter. All right, boot into recovery right away. And once you're in recovery mode, all right, and it should boot into TWRP recovery just like that, then you have TWRP recovery installed permanently. All right, there are special exceptions like the LGV20 here where you're in fastboot mode, but you cannot reboot into recovery straight. All right, if that's the case where you can't boot into recovery right away, either pull your battery. In this case, I'm gonna go ahead and pull the battery. If you have one of the newer phones, you're gonna have to hold down power down and volume down. Just volume down and power. All right, as soon as you see the logo, let go of the button for like 1 or 2 seconds and then hit it again. And if you do it quick enough, you're gonna be able to get into the download mode. So I'm gonna let it go and press it again and boom shakalaka. And from here, you can go ahead and select yes, hit the power, and say yes and hit the power. This way, your TWRP recovery will not get erased because it happens on the LGV20 especially. It may happen on the newer phones. That way you can reboot into TWRP recovery without having to reboot into system. Once you reboot into system, you lose TWRP. So you boot back into fastboot, flash TWRP again, and if you don't know how to do these buttons, then you're rebooting again into system and then you keep losing it. So if you don't do this on the LGV20 especially, or you could just use the fastboot space boot space TWRP recovery command, which will boot you straight into fastboot. You can use that also. All right. At this point, if you do not need to root your phone, go ahead and follow my tutorial on how to install a custom ROM. You do not have to root your phone, Android device, to install a custom ROM. If you follow this guide just to install TWRP recovery to install a new ROM, then you can go ahead and stop at this step and go ahead and follow that other tutorial. I'll put the link up here so you can follow that and also in the description below. All right, go ahead and follow that. If you're installing a ROM, you do not have to root your phone. You just need to install TWRP. Go ahead and go straight into that tutorial. Now, if you see this message, unmodify system partition, that means your phone is encrypted. That is why I made you copy over the no verify opt encrypt.zip. If you don't see this, you can go ahead and skip this step. Again, read my article. That will show you where to skip, so you don't have to go through this. All right, if your system's encrypted, for certain phones, like with the OnePlus 6, you can actually go ahead and just use your PIN code and actually decrypt it. But for most other Androids, you're not going to be able to decrypt it. So you're going to have to do a data wipe. So what we're going to do is keep it in keep read only. We're going to go to our computer and go into your downloads folder. And you're going to go ahead and copy over no verify opt encrypt if you want to get rid of encryption, which we want to. And go ahead and copy over all the Magisk files if you want root. And I'm going to go ahead and copy it in here, paste. All right, that's pasted. All right, at this point, you do not need your USB cable. If you keep seeing read-only and you want to decrypt, you can go ahead and follow this step. But I'm going to go ahead and go to install the no verify opt encrypt, swipe, and this will get rid of the encryption. So next time you boot into TWRP, you will be able to flash new files. To verify this work, you can go back to reboot menu and recovery. And once you are here, you should not see of the read-only message that's been decrypted. Now, once your system boots, you may still have encrypted data. It just depends on the system. It doesn't work 100% of the time. But as you can see here, no read-only warning, so it's been decrypted. I'm gonna go ahead and flash. Now, this is the step where you should have skipped to if you didn't need to do all this encryption, decryption. You're gonna go ahead and simply flash Magisk, the zip file, confirm. And if something goes wrong after you reboot at this point, after flashing Magisk, sometimes Magisk, maybe with the newer phone or older phone, sometimes you can boot loop. If that happens, simply reboot into TWRP and flash the uninstaller. That's why I made you copy it over. So it's sort of like a safety insurance just in case things go wrong. When that's done, you are pretty much done. Reboot system, do not install. Let it boot, and you should have booted into welcome screen, start over, but you should have Magisk installed. Booted up nicely, took actually a few minutes. Let me go ahead and sign in for you guys real quick. Hi guys, booted up nicely, moment of truth. You should have Magisk Manager, all right? Go ahead and open it, and boom shakalaka. If you see installed version, you are good to go. You can also do a safety net check, and boom shakalaka. One more boom shakalaka and you're on fire. All right, so Magisk working fully. Now at this point, you don't see the Magisk Manager. You can go ahead and install the Magisk Manager APK using your file explorer, but go ahead and install the APK separately. You should have a fully rooted phone. All right, that's how you do it. Now let me go ahead and show you. Now that was for the Nexus 6P with just a recovery. All right, let me go ahead and show you with the Pixel 2 now. I'm gonna go do the same thing. Power down, volume down, and power. All right, volume down and power. I'm gonna go ahead and connect it to my computer real quick. Okay, for this one, we're gonna do Fastboot boot, and we're gonna go ahead and fill in the TWRP recovery image file for the Pixel 2. The reason why we can't do this above here is because newer phones that have installer zip separately, you simply cannot flash to the recovery because that's also the boot partition. What this command allows you to do is boot into TWRP without actually writing over anything. So anytime you do Fastboot space boot and whatever image, your Android device is gonna boot straight into whatever image. It's not gonna flash it to your phone. So I'm gonna go ahead and enter, and you will see my phone booting into TWRP recovery. All right, this is called the temporary TWRP. And for these devices, again, if you see encryption here, I'm gonna go back to my downloads further. I'm gonna go ahead and try to copy over the installer and all the Magisk files, all right? And if you need to decrypt, you can also do that here, no verify encrypt. But I'm just gonna go ahead and grab the files I need, which is the installer and the Magisk files, do a copy. Now, sometimes TWRP recovery do not connect to your computer. This sometimes when there's bugs in the TWRP recovery. An easy way to fix this on a phone with a micro SD card, for example, any of the LG devices, you can use a micro SD card, copy all your files there. Now, you can see that I'm stuck here. All right, guys, at this point, I'm stuck, and this might happen to you. Now, there is a way to copy files over. I do also have instructions on that, just in case you get stuck at this step. I'll put that in my tutorial. Another great way is to simply just grab a USB OTG cable with your USB flash drive. So that's what I'm gonna do because I can't copy files over due to the TWRP not working. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this into my computer, and I'm gonna go ahead and copy all the Magisk files and the Pixel 2 installer. And I'm gonna go ahead and paste it here into my USB flash drive. All right, once that's done, we're gonna go ahead and flash the files using the OTG cable. If you don't have a USB OTG cable, and then I do recommend totally getting one. I'll have some recommendations for a good OTG cable. It can save you in situations like this. Also later down the road, if you want to install custom ROMs and you don't want to leave it in your internal storage, you can put it in here and install it straight from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and plug this in, and I'm gonna go to install, and I'm gonna change storage now to my USB OTG. All right, and now I'm gonna go ahead and install the TWRP installer file and confirm to flash. This will give you full TWRP recovery now. All right, on devices like this, newer devices that have installer's zip file and the image file, and that's the only way you can actually get permanent TWRP recovery. Now you will actually have to redo this every time you flash a new ROM. Go ahead and make sure you flash over the TWRP installer file. With the newer devices like the Pixel 2, the TWRP recovery image is part of your boot partition. Means every time you change a ROM, you're gonna lose TWRP, so you're gonna have to re-flash it. Just leave the file on your phone or your USB flash drive or your micro SD card, and that way you can flash it every time you flash a new ROM. All right, that's done. We're gonna go ahead and check if it's working. Go to reboot and choose recovery. All right, and if it boots right back into TWRP recovery, we now have permanent TWRP recovery for the Pixel 2 here. And next I'm gonna go ahead and install the Magisk installer, 16.4 or whatever the latest version, and reboot, and we should have full root on the Pixel 2 also, and also with TWRP recovery installed permanently. But basically we just covered two different ways of installing TWRP recovery. Basically the first method, install the boot image to the recovery partition. The second method, let me go ahead and reboot system now, hit do not install. The second method, we booted TWRP recovery. All right, we did not flash anything, temporarily boot into TWRP, and then copy the files over for TWRP installer zip file. And if you get stuck, you can use emergency measures using an OTG cable or a micro SD card, and we flash the actual permanent zip installer, which installed TWRP recovery on the boot image you have. And we've logged in, and go to Magisk Manager, and boom shakalaka, installed version 16.4. As long as you see installed version, you're good to go. And do not update, all right? You don't need to update Magisk. Once it's working, it's working. You don't have to mess with it. All right, you can verify you have full root by installing Titanium Backup app, free app on the Play Store, and let's check it. And boom shakalaka. You should have a fully rooted device, all right, with TWRP recovery installed, and you should be good to go. Anyway guys, I know the tutorial was long, but I try to cover all the different devices, all the different variations. Like I said, if you want to follow this tutorial for any device, it can work. Just make sure you refer to my actual written guide, because that will actually have the steps where you gotta skip, which files you gotta flash. It'll be more detailed. Again, the video, use it as a reference. Don't use it as step-by-step guide. I will also have more detailed guides, for example, HTC. Or LG, just because things are a lot more different there. I may make a dedicated guide for those, but you should still be able to use this guide to install TWRP recovery using Fastboot and root your device using Magisk or Super SU. And guys, this is part of my new series called Android Root 101, where you can learn universal methods on how to root your Android, and just learning how to root Android and install custom ROMs. It could be very helpful in for you learning about Android. So the whole series you can watch over here, and my next video should be up here if it's up here by now, the time you see it. By the time you see it. If you like this tutorial and you want to receive updates, make sure you click on my face to subscribe and make sure your notification bell is on. And have a great day. That's pretty much it.